Tonight,
Very dumb mistake.
an apology from a Sask Party candidate for using a racial slur over a year ago in his caucus office. Royal University Hospital's capacity issues are a concern for occupational health and safety. And a fan favorite returns to the field for the green and white.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Wednesday, October 9th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening and thank you for watching. A Saskatchewan Party incumbent apologized in front of the media today for using a racial slur in front of staff while at the legislature. Saskatoon Westview candidate David Buckingham spoke about the incident for the first time. Adam Hunter has the details.
Very dumb mistake. One word, and it can change your life. And I'm very sorry to the people involved. I offer my apology again. I wish I could bring it back. Unfortunately, I can't.
David Buckingham has represented Saskatoon Westview since 2016. On Tuesday, Speaker Randy Weeks released allegations that Buckingham said a racial slur in a conversation with a caucus colleague and did it in front of a black staff member. On Tuesday, Buckingham released a statement apologizing.
It was a really dumb mistake, something that's not okay. We're a country of inclusivity, and my comments talking about that were completely inappropriate. And just as a recap, I was talking about someone else's story, recalling what they had said, and I used a racial slur to do that. Someone overhearing me had a concern with that, rightfully so. I went and I apologized immediately to that person.
Sask Party leader Scott Moe says Buckingham's apology and participation in sensitivity training followed caucus policy.
This is an incident that did occur a year and a half ago, and it was dealt with as per the policies that we have in caucus. And I'm thankful that we do have those types of policies that we adhere to.
NDP leader Carla Beck was asked about the situation on the campaign trail in Saskatoon.
I will say this: it's not something that I think most people would stand for. We're in the middle of an election. People in Westview will have their opportunity to register what they think about the actions and the apology.
As for Randy Weeks, he's been outspoken in his criticism of Moe and the Sask Party since the spring. Weeks was elected in 1999, but lost the Saskatchewan Party nomination bid last December. He says he's come forward with allegations since then because he said he had nothing to lose. Weeks says he will vote for the NDP on October 28th. Adam Hunter, CBC News, Regina.
The NDP's campaign stopped by St. Paul's Hospital in Saskatoon today, and its leader used it to call out the Sask Party government on the state of the healthcare system.
I say better, you say staffing's better! Staffing!
A lunchtime rally by Saskatoon healthcare workers rounded out NDP leader Carla Beck's campaign announcement on Wednesday. Beck says healthcare workers have shared they are deeply concerned about an Air Canada flight that was bound for Saskatoon from Toronto. In audio recordings, the pilots say there is a flight control issue and declared an emergency.
What would have we done had the worst occurred? That is what healthcare workers have been worrying about and warning us about for years. For years, healthcare workers have been warning Scott Moe and the Sask Party that there is zero excess capacity should there be a mass casualty event.
The plane did land safely in Saskatoon, but NDP says that same night, the emergency room at St. Paul's was over 200% capacity, something that is causing stress on workers. Beck says her party would increase staffing to spread out the workload. Beck says they'd also open City Hospital's ER 24/7.
Show up, fight back!
The dozens of rallying workers were beating the same drum they've been beating for months now. overcapacity concerns and understaffing in hospitals, and saying the healthcare system is in crisis.
When it comes down to it, capacity. We've been battling capacity for the longest of time, and that really needs to be addressed. We understand the infrastructure isn't necessarily capable of holding how many people we have, so we need to think bigger, think larger.
With provincial election campaigns underway, the pressure is on parties to come out with solutions to the ongoing struggles in the healthcare system. One thing is clear from the healthcare workers today: change is needed. Liam O'Connor, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Sask Party leader Scott Moe on the campaign trail today, pledging to extend coverage for diabetes supplies. If he's re-elected, Premier Moe said he would extend coverage for insulin pumps and diabetes supplies to seniors and young adults.
These extensions will improve the quality of life for young people that are living with diabetes. And it will help ease the financial burden for our young people who are just starting out life, maybe finishing school, maybe attending graduate classes or post-secondary classes, or maybe starting a job or even starting a family in a Saskatchewan community.
Currently, people under 18 don't have to pay for continuous and flash glucose monitors. Moe says if he's re-elected premier, that coverage would be extended to those to the age of 25 and seniors 65 and older. The Saskatchewan Party says the proposed extension of coverage would benefit about 9,000 seniors and 700 young adults. Now, voting day is October 28th, but we'll hope that you'll join us first for the leaders' debate on October 16th. That is next Wednesday night. Carla Beck will face off against Scott Moe, and you can watch it live here on CBC at 6:05 p.m. Overcapacity at Royal University Hospital has led to an occupational health and safety violation. Some say it's a symptom of a long-standing issue of overcapacity. The Saskatchewan Health Authority says hospitals will reach overcapacity, but their goal is to reduce how often. Dane Patterson has more.
Last week, an occupational health and safety officer visited Saskatoon's Royal Hospital's emergency room. They found and noted 3 hazards that were harmful to workers due to overcapacity.
While they commented on that being an unsafe work environment for the workers, it's clearly unsafe for the patients as well.
The health officer was told by management that when 19 people are admitted with no beds, the hospital is overcapacity. There are at least 60 patients in that situation.
This contravention is just a symptom, right, of a huge collapse of our healthcare system.
Tracy Zamburi says the issue is chronic understaffing and a lack of primary healthcare providers. And Dennis Kendall says he doesn't believe there are enough beds. This isn't the first time overcrowding in Saskatoon hospitals has led to calls for change. The Saskatoon Capacity Pressure Action Plan, published last November, was meant to resolve issues like these. The Saskatchewan Health Authority says it's added more than 250 staff and at least 40 permanent inpatient beds. The SHA says it expects high capacity in hospitals, and that's not unique to Saskatoon or Saskatchewan.
I think our goal here is to, through the investments in the Saskatoon Capacity Action Plan and the initiatives that we have underway, is to reduce the frequency of when we see those overcapacity peaks.
Ash says the goal is also to reduce the intensity. He says the SHA is also working to move the people it can to long-term care homes or to hospitals closer to their homes. That's because Ash says about 1/3 of hospital patients come from other communities and need specialized care. The issues at the Royal University Hospital have to be remedied by November 1st, alongside a progress report given to the provincial government. Dane Patterson, CBC News, Saskatoon.
The province's top court is throwing out 2 first-degree murder convictions against a Regina man. Dylan Whitehawk was convicted of killing 2 men in 2019 in separate drive-by shootings. Jurors found Whitehawk guilty at trial 2 years ago. He appealed, arguing the judge didn't allow potential jurors to be properly questioned. Whitehawk wanted the jurors quizzed on whether they could set aside their bias against street gangs. The Court of Appeal agreed with Whitehawk. It concluded that some jurors may not be able to set aside the bias, which robbed Whitehawk of an impartial jury. The Supreme Court has reserved its decision on a challenge against the Saskatchewan government. The challenge says provincial correctional workers discipline inmates without sufficient proof. Saskatchewan's regulations say an inmate may be found guilty if it's more likely than not that they have committed an offense. The John Howard Society is asking for that to change. They want convictions based on evidence that proves an offense without any reasonable doubt. The Canadian Civil Liberties Association is one of 15 interveners on the case. It says the lower standard of proof impacts marginalized groups unfairly.
So the impacts are profound. Research shows that being in solitary confinement can have serious impacts on mental health of inmates. They're already in situations where these are vulnerable groups and vulnerable members of society that are disproportionately targeted. So some already have pre-existing maybe mental health conditions.
The government of Saskatchewan has argued that the low standard of proof required to provide what it believes is a fair and efficient disciplinary process, given the high volume of offenses. Another absolutely gorgeous day in Regina's Wascana Park. We are being totally spoiled with these fantastic temperatures. It's nice to see so many people are out taking advantage and spending time outdoors before it gets so cold. Ethan will have more on how long this will last in his forecast after the break. Stay with us. Regina City Council is still working through its final meeting ahead of local elections next month. The meeting began this morning at 9 a.m. instead of the usual 1 p.m. start, and it was a marathon agenda, including the use of the Brand Centre for a Private Hockey Academy, how to pay for an $85 million increase to the cost of the new aquatic centre, and finalizing a lease for a permanent homeless shelter. Next time you see Regina City Council, it will look different. Andrew Stevens, Cheryl Stadnichuk, John Findura, Landon Mole, and Dan LeBlanc are not running again. And Lori Bresciani will face off with Sandra Masters in the race for mayor. Local elections happen November 13th. The chair and some members of the Residential School Documents Advisory Committee have quit. They say it's because of insufficient federal funding. The committee was supposed to process more than 20 million documents to share with the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation. Cadmus DeLorme from Cowessess First Nation was the chair. He says their repeated asks for additional resources were not accepted.
I was thinking of all the residential school survivors that are leaning on us in this moment. But if we don't have resources, I can't fulfill my mandate. And so it was an extremely tough decision to suspend my role.
DeLorme quit his role along with 8 other committee members. The Ministry of Crown, Indigenous Relations and Northern Affairs Canada did not respond to CBC's requests for an interview. Hurricane Milton is now just hours away from making landfall in western Florida. Top officials say the damage could be catastrophic after it hits late tonight or early tomorrow. Katie Simpson has spent the day near Orlando as residents prepare for the worst.
Now come along with me. We're going to show you what preparations look like. Right now we're in a mobile home park and you can see some of the trailers have been boarded up. This is an area that police tell us is known to be flooded, and so people are taking some precautions. There are some people who've left the area, but we've got wooden planks up on some of the trailers here, and we've got another one just over here, just to give you a sense of what it looks like in some of these neighborhoods where really dangerous conditions are expected to roll through. The most serious effects of this storm are going to be in the Gulf Coast, the Tampa Bay, Sarasota areas. That's where there's life-threatening storm surge, hurricane force winds. There is so much concern. Authorities have warned people that if they did not follow those evacuation orders, if they do need help, help might not be able to get there. They're describing it as a catastrophic situation, and they are concerned that it will be deadly for those that did not follow those evacuation orders. Here in Orlando, when you talk to the people who are either hunkering down or planning on going to shelters, there's a real mix sort of people that we've spoken to today, and you can tell that there is really a sense of unease heading into Milton.
A little nervous. I see all these houses boarded up and we have not done anything because I didn't think it was going to hit Central Florida, as everyone is now saying.
Are you nervous at all?
No, not at all. I've been through enough of them that we'll be okay. I know we're getting 100-mile-an-hour winds, but I think this house can withstand it.
It's my first time. I don't feel afraid. God knows what she's doing. You have to go through.
This is expected to be a once-in-a-lifetime type of storm. The hurricane strength winds, the storm surge. There's also the concern of tornadoes. People are being urged to stay indoors and wait for this storm to pass, and it's expected to be an incredibly difficult 48 hours for the state of Florida. Katie Simpson, CBC News, outside of Orlando, Florida.
The weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. Our greatest auto sale is on now.
Well, now that Katie Simpson has given me secondary weather anxiety, our weather specialist Ethan Williams joins me now. Thankfully in Saskatchewan, things here pretty calm.
Yeah, totally different. Today we are dealing with summer-like temperatures once again through much of the province as those temperatures continue to surge well into the 20s. Yeah, we hit 29 degrees today in Estevan, just shy of 30. Not very often that we see a 30-degree temperature into October, especially this late into the month. Much of the rest of us, again, especially along that far south part of the province, hitting 20s as well. Around 20 degrees even in central Saskatchewan is still really nice for this time of year. And after today, many of us have now either met or have jumped above the average number of 20-plus degree days that we have in October. Regina and Swift Current, a couple of standouts there. We're about 2 or so days above the average that we normally see, and the rest of us, even a little bit above that. We do get cooler as we head through the rest of October, so the chance of hitting 20 degrees again is not necessarily all that good, but here's the thing, never say never, because there's another ridge developing in the jet stream, and there are some weather models that are saying that parts of Alberta will jump well into the 20s as we get into the Thanksgiving long weekend, and that could move our way into next week, but some models kind of pulling that back a little bit. In the meantime, we are definitely going to drop temperature-wise as we head through the night tonight because we have this area of cloud cover which has now started moving through much of the province, and that is kind of inhibiting the temperatures from warming up a little bit. In addition to that, as that cloud cover moves in, a small area of low pressure is going to bring a chance of showers through the northern grain belt and into the Churchill region tonight, but that should begin to clear as we head through the day tomorrow as this area of high pressure develops out to our west. That starts to move in, clears the skies out nicely for Friday, but then we kind of have this seesaw effect. The high pressure moves out, and we have another low pressure area that'll bring a chance of showers through southern and central Saskatchewan as we head into Friday night and Saturday morning before that clears out and we see some sunny skies for the weekend. It's not going to bring much rain, though. I think the first batch of this overnight tonight, maybe 1 millimeter or 2, and at most maybe 4 or 5 millimeters centered in east central parts of the province. Tomorrow, as that system moves through, a little bit of a breezy one. I think actually we'll see gusts maybe 40 to 50 at times. This is a bit of an undershot here. And then things calming down a little bit as we get into Friday with that next area of high pressure starting to move in. So for Regina, I'm going to call it a mostly cloudy day tomorrow, maybe some showers overnight Friday into Saturday before things clear out just in time for the Rider game, and then a nice a week ahead as those temperatures again start to pick up. Saskatoon, chance of morning showers before things clear out. We will drop slightly below the freezing mark for Saturday, but then things picking up again, and as I say, Sam, if I can get that right, temperatures might be even picking up even more than that.
You were saying we're going to get cooler as October goes on, yes?
Yes.
I'm going to take that home because I never get cooler and my 12-year-old doesn't think so. So however I can get cooler, I'll take it.
Wow, pass that on to me too. How
All
about?
right, thanks, Ethan.
You're welcome.
The puck has dropped on a new NHL season, and with it, history was made. Saskatchewan's Jessica Campbell made her debut as the first ever female assistant coach in the league. She was behind the bench for the Seattle Kraken as they hosted the St. Louis Blues. The 32-year-old Rocanville product was named assistant coach in July. Her first game ended in a loss, though. The Blues beat the Kraken 3-2, but she is in good company as Saskatchewan product Jordan Eberle was named captain for the Kraken. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back. After missing 6 games with a hip injury, the Saskatchewan Roughriders are prepared to have their star running back. AJ Ouellette has officially returned to practice as a full participant. He's been helping behind the scenes since he got hurt on August 16th and started practicing again last week. Raquel Armstead has been limited in practice both days this week. He missed last week with a shoulder injury. With his return on the horizon, Ouellette says he has some catching up to do.
I need to be able to know what the O-line's thinking. It's almost a brand new group from when I started. So, trying to get a feel for how they're seeing stuff, spending extra time in the film room with them, having dinner at Furlands to try to, get a little extra talk about football.
On the receiver front, the team will officially be without Sean Bain Jr. for the rest of the season. It's a result of the knee injury he suffered in the game against Ottawa. Kickoff against the BC Lions at Mosaic Stadium in Regina is on Saturday at 5 o'clock. And it looks like the weather forecast for that, Ethan, is going to be pretty nice.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving and football and not freezing.
No, not at all. And even before that, a bit of a temperature drop tomorrow, especially for southern Saskatchewan after the summer-like weather today, but still not that bad. Starting warm. We'll get to about 15, but cloud cover building in for Regina and the south will stick with us through the day, and those winds picking up a little bit at times. For Saskatoon, there is a slight chance of a morning shower tomorrow, but as we get into the afternoon, by the noon hour, we're seeing a mix of sun and cloud, probably mainly sunny skies by the time we get a little further into the afternoon hours. Speaking of Saskatoon, some gorgeous shots of the aurora thanks to Eric right in the city. You can see these shots, or you see the aurora rather. Didn't have to go much out of town. Thanks so much, Eric, for sending those in. Tonight, that geomagnetic storm, Sam, is over. Looks like the best of the aurora is over too, but good news because I think we get a little bit of cloud cover too, so probably wouldn't be able to see it as well.
How rude.
The way it goes.
Thanks, Ethan.
You're welcome.
Oh, and that is it for us tonight. For more on the provincial election campaign, you can head to cbc.ca/sask, or you can subscribe to CBC Saskatchewan's YouTube channel. And don't forget to catch the Leaders Debate here on CBC on October 16th. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.